Jesse Minter is the first coach in franchise history that comes from a defensive background, which seems interesting for a team and a franchise that we think of defense when you think of the Baltimore Ravens. He brings that defensive acumen, that intelligence into Baltimore. It's what they were looking for, but let's be honest here. Despite his defensive specialties, his biggest challenge and his biggest test will be the relationship that he forms with Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson and how that situation manages itself, because Lamar Jackson did not play up to his usual self last year. A lot of questions about Lamar swirling all around the league, and it will be up to Jesse Minter to forge that relationship and make sure Lamar Jackson is happy so that he can get the best out of Lamar Jackson in Baltimore.
There were 10 teams looking for new coaches this offseason, and with Minter's
5-year contract, Minter was immediately viewed as one of the favorites for the position and was an assistant under John Harbaugh in Baltimore from 2017 to 2020. Ocho, the Ravens defense hasn't lived up to the standard of hard-nosed defense we expect in Baltimore. Was this a safe pick for the Ravens, or was it the right pick for the Ravens?
It's the right pick for someone that's already been around there, that knows what it's like to play like a Raven, understanding that moniker, understanding the rich history in which those defenses have always played with since the early 2000s, trying to bring that back, trying to bring that culture back of defensive players creating a certain atmosphere. When you come to play the goddamn Ravens, bring 2 chin straps. That's what it was like during our time. Bring 2 chin straps, because it's going to be a game of straight physicality, being able to dominate on the defensive end. Obviously, you had Lamar Jackson in the offense and what they're able to do, but they need to bring their identity back in being the Ravens of old. Even though we're in 2026, this is the right coach to be able to do that. He knows defense. He understands that he has a defensive mind, and obviously there are going to be some changes that are made. They need to, obviously, address the issues on that front end, because hell, you got Marlon Humphrey, you got brother Wiggins. Hey, if I was running routes for 8 seconds, I'd be able to get open too, because they ain't put no pressure on no goddamn body. But I think he was the right coach. He wasn't a safe one. He was the right one. So I'm hoping he does, that team justice, that organization justice, and get the Ravens back to what we're used to seeing them on the defensive end.
When you say play like a Raven, and the defense used to be, Ray Lewis, Hall of Famer, ain't coming through that door. Ed Reed, Hall of Famer, ain't coming through that door. Former Defensive Player of the Year and future Hall of Famer, Terrell Suggs, ain't coming through that door. Lodi Nada, not coming through that door. They don't have the same level of defensive talent that they once had. And I think that's where it starts. And you mentioned up front, I think they need edge players. They need somebody that can get to the quarterback. And they haven't had that in a while. Kyle Van Noy turned back the hands of time 2 years ago and had a career year. But to expect him to be that when he's only been that one time in his 10, 11-year career, I think you're asking a bit much. When the guy they traded to the Chargers, he leaves the Ravens, has 0 sacks, goes to the Chargers, has 7.5 in about 6 weeks. So I don't know if it was scheme. I don't know if he was unhappy. I don't know what it was, but he looked like a different player. In with the Chargers than he did. Now, obviously, he got better players around him. He got Khalil Mack. He got the Samoan sensation. They got guys that can float. They got fast-ass linebacker with Perriman and Henley. They got Derwin James, who's basically Kyle Hamilton, Derwin James. Okay, I can see that. But my only question is, okay, you get a defensive mind. Steve Bisciotti is familiar with him. He's been in the building for about 4 years. He left and he came back. Who are you going to get as an offensive coordinator?
That's important.
That is the most important thing. Now, Lamar said he wanted he liked Clint Kubiak. He loved the way he attacked the field. He loved how he always stresses the defense. They didn't hire him. Now, he's not leaving Seattle for a lateral move to go to Baltimore. So I just don't know who they're going to get as an offensive coordinator.
Right.
But they definitely need some players, Ocho. They've got to get.
Hold on, Unc. I don't like when you say it like that. You said they need some players. They don't need just some players. There are a lot of players to go get. They need They need impact players. Impact players at specific positions. The first level and the second level. First level and the second level. I'm not sure who you can get that can play the 9 technique. I'm not sure you can get at the middle backup position because sometimes Roquan Smith gets exposed on passing down because that's not what he does. He's not good at that. Roquan Smith is a very, very good linebacker. I think it would have been much better during our era,
Yes.
It would have been much better during our era. So, I mean, listen, I like him, but they need improvement, tremendous improvement. And this is I'm not biased because I'm a Bengal fan. I watch the Ravens, in depth and watching them play, and I know what improvements they need to make defensively for them to get back to where they need to get to. They got to meet the offense halfway, just halfway, because they was at the bottom. They was at the bottom of the league, most of the goddamn season. Even though they got better as the season went on.
Well, I mean, I would hope they couldn't get worse. I think the thing is that, like, when you have that level of defense and what the Ravens fans are used to, they had Ray Lewis for 17 years. They had Suggs for like 13, 14 years. They had Ed Reed for over a decade. You had Haloti Ngata. They're used to the Rod Woodson and all those guys that were there that started this. They're used to that level of play, and they're not. They don't look. You're probably not. There's a less than 0.5% chance that you'll find another Ray Lewis or an Ed Reed. You talk about two of the greatest players to ever play this game in the 100-plus year history. So let's just set that to the side. But I think you can get some players that are better, that can perform at a level that are better than what they performed at. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Now I hope Lamar comes back healthy. He had a short season. He didn't make the playoffs, so hopefully he gets those hamstrings healed up. He's ready. He's ready to come back. But I'm really anxious to see who's the offensive coordinator and what type of system they're going to run, because that is the most important thing. Lamar Jackson is your most valuable asset. The best thing you can do is put him in the best possible situation for him to succeed. And that gives you the best chance of winning. Now, once you get that lead, Ocho, having a sustainable defense. Because think about all those leads that they had. Remember, they had a 15-point lead and they end up losing to Buffalo. Think about all the leads. They had a lead to the Patriots and lost that one. So we see a reoccurring theme about, especially over the last 2 years, that get the lead but unable to hold the lead. And so the offensive coordinator is going to be very, very. I thought they would go an offensive route because they went special teams route, and John Harbaugh, they hit it out the park. You couldn't ask for anything. They got 18 years out of them, a Super Bowl, many division titles, and some playoffs. And so with Lamar Jackson, I thought they would probably go offense and give him something. But the offensive coordinator is going to be the most important thing. Who do you get to coordinate that offense that can be most beneficial to Lamar, that receiving core, and you got Derrick Henry? What type of offense are you going to run, Ocho? What are you going to do? That's the most important thing.
Yeah, most definitely. And you know what? Also, I wouldn't mind adding another receiver.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I'm talking about an outside guy. We know they can play. They can play on the outside, but he's more of a slot guy. He can dominate the intermediate and short routes.
He's small.
I would love someone on the outside that's a dog. That's young. Maybe a little bit right outside their prime, but still good enough to take over a goddamn game at any point.
I'm trying to solo Ocho. Yeah, it's just hard. I mean, you got to be really, really special to be that size and be play outside. I mean, there are not a whole lot of 5'9" guys. I mean, you talk about a Steve Smith or you talk about a Tyreek Hill. You talk about guys with exceptional. Tyreek had